You gave Paths 5?
Yeah, I gave it a 5.
All right, we'll talk about that.
But yeah, to get into it, hello everybody, and welcome back to the best film podcast on the face of the planet, The Average Film Enjoyer. We are your average film enjoyers, Jagger and Trey, and this is a podcast where we talk all things cinema. And it's really for your casual moviegoer. If you're just wanting to get into film, this is for you. If you're already deep into film, this is also for you. It's for everybody. But before we get into our reviews for today, Jagger, my friend, how are we doing?
We're doing great. We're continuing the series on my favorite director. I'm sad I couldn't have been here for the first episode, but at least I'm here for this one, so I'm
Yes.
just glad to be here.
Yeah, me too, as always. Always happy to be here with you, buddy. I'm excited. We reviewed Fear and Desire and Killer's Kiss on Monday with my good friend Evan. And we're going to be skipping movie news for today because Jagger has tickets to go see. What are you seeing tonight? You're seeing Poor Things?
I'm seeing Poor Things tonight, which I
W.
cannot be more excited about. I'm so
What?
excited.
Before we get into it, let me ask you: what's your favorite Yorgos movie?
This is my first one.
What? Oh man, you're gonna need to
Yeah.
watch more of his stuff when you. My personal favorite is The Lobster. I think you would really enjoy that. It's like the most British movie I've ever seen.
Ooh.
It's excellent. It's so funny. And Killing of the Sacred Deer is also very good, which I believe just dropped on Netflix or some
Ooh.
streaming service where you can
If it's
watch
on
it. So
Netflix,
that is also a great one.
count me in.
Um, Hell yeah, man. Yeah. So today we are getting into recently on our Friday night double feature series. We have been working through the greatest director of all time's filmography, Stanley Kubrick. So today is part 2 of that series, and we will be talking about his heist film, The Killing, and his first war film, his first of, I believe, 3 war films, Paths of Glory, about World War One. So let's talk about The Killing first, because I feel like there's more to say about Paths of Glory. I think we both enjoy that one a bit more. What were your thoughts on The Killing? I know you just finished it. I watched it this morning. How did you feel about it?
I gave it 2 stars, and I can explain. When I
Mm-hmm.
think Stanley Kubrick, I sort of have this set expectation of, like, if I say that was Kubrick level good, that means that was incredible. When I think Kubrick, I think The Shining, Eyes Wide Shut, Clockwork Orange. These movies that are not only layered with perpetual greatness,
Mm-hmm.
these are films that have deep characters, well shot, well edited, and are beautiful films. And when we talk about Paths of Glory, you no longer are able to say it's just old, it didn't age well. You can say that with Fear and Desire, but
Mm-hmm.
you can't really say that with this because Paths of Glory comes out like 2 years later and is just peak Kubrick. So this movie hurt on a few levels because it just it didn't feel like Kubrick to me. And I think that that's really where my thoughts end on it, because I think that
Yeah.
it wasn't a film with that much substance. It just
Mm-hmm.
it didn't really work for me.
Yeah. Obviously, this is primarily a heist film. We didn't, before this point, we hadn't gotten much out of that genre. Um, like, we didn't even, like, one of the first quote unquote ever heist films, The Sting, we didn't even get till 1973. And this came out in what? This was 55, I'm pretty sure.
It's like
Um,
55, 56, yeah.
Yeah. Obviously, we have a bunch of one-dimensional characters, a bunch of characters with not too many layers to them, but they all serve a purpose in the plot. Um, I thought we got glimpses of, again, Kubrick hasn't really come into his own at this point, like become the director that we know. Uh, and he's still trying to figure out himself artistically. This is a definite huge step up from Fear and Desire and Killer's Kiss, in my opinion. Just
Yeah.
a massive step up. I am much higher on this than you. I gave it a 4.5, but that's really just because I'm a sucker for heist movies. And I saw like Steven Soderbergh, who's like the modern master of heist movies. I saw a lot of his stuff that he uses in this movie, and could tell that of this movie had a lot of influence on him. At least that's what I thought. Um, I thought we got a solid lead performance from what's his name. Um, oh, give me 1 second. Uh,
Um
what was his name? Oh,
Sterling
Sterling.
Hayden. Yeah.
Yeah, Sterling Hayden. I thought we got a solid performance from him, but again, there was a lot of characters here who were pretty two-dimensional, or one-dimensional. So there's not too much to talk about here. I would recommend watching this one. I think it's a good time. I think it really captures the magic of 50s cinema, which is slowly becoming one of my favorite eras of cinema. Like it just has a certain magic to it, and a feel to it. Um, so I would definitely recommend it. But again, it's not like essential viewing.
Yeah.
Jagger, what about you? Would you recommend people go watch this?
I mean, yeah, I definitely recommend it for sure. But there were two things I did want to mention, sort of like a
Mm-hmm.
good point and a bad point. For a movie with so much build up to a heist, for the heist to be like that 5 minute one room thing, it didn't really have as much of a payoff as I was hoping. And I know that the heist sort of came in a few different parts,
Mm-hmm.
but for that to be like the big heist scene sort of left me like, oh, all right. Um, but there was one scene in here that felt really like if anything was showing Kubrick becoming Kubrick. It was that scene where it's the guy and the wife. I think her name's Faye,
Mm-hmm.
right? Where they're in that room and he walks in and he's like this with like blood all over his face.
Yeah.
And she gets shot. That felt like a Kubrick scene.
Yes.
So there's
I
good
had
and
I
bad.
had the exact same thought there.
Yeah. So there's good and bad. And I do
Mm-hmm.
recommend it for the sake of if you're going to be watching all of Kubrick's movies, then you do watch it. But otherwise, I think that there are better movies trying to execute a similar concept.
I agree. Yeah. But let's get into our next one. What most believe is the true start of Stanley Kubrick's just peak career, where he doesn't have a single movie that misses. We are going to be talking about the 1957, I believe, World War One classic, Paths of Glory. Now, Jagger, when's the last time you watched this?
Um I mm, I
Has
don't.
it been a while?
So I watched it on April 16th.
Okay, so it hasn't been that long.
Not that long, but almost a year. So it's
Yeah.
in there.
I thought this was excellent. I thought this was an excellent anti-war film. I think we get some really, really despicable characters here, which somehow Kubrick is better at writing the bad guys than he is the good guys, which is concerning. Um, but I mean, let me pull up because I can't remember anybody's name. But the main general who's basically trying to like uh General George Bullard. He is basically trying to like push all the blame onto these soldiers. That's your basic plot here. And it's like Kirk Douglas's job, and his name is Colonel Dax. It's his job to like defend them and basically try to not get them killed by a firing squad.
Yes.
Um, and I thought this was excellent. I think we see more. I think this is where Kubrick finally starts figuring out his style, and we see this in the scale of the war scenes. I think we see this when they are inside those chambers and all that stuff. These huge chambers with just beautiful artwork and these beautiful shots, even though it's in black and white. I would love to see this like rejuvenated to like in color. I think it
Oh
would
yeah.
add a whole nother layer to it, because even that opening dialogue between the two generals in that big room, you have all these beautiful, huge paintings and all this beautiful just background, but it's black and white. So I mean, it can only go so far. So I would love to see this in color, but I thought this was excellent. What about you? What are your opening thoughts on this one?
Okay. Um, like you said, I don't think I could have ordered it better myself. This film, albeit in black and white, is one of the most beautifully shot films in Kubrick's whole filmography. It is
Mm-hmm.
stunning. In The Shining, there's the shot where it follows behind the kid as he goes, and I think it was the first
Yeah.
movie to do that.
Yep.
But there's a shot in this where they follow the guy, like his face, as he walks through the trench.
Yeah, and there's all the people on the side of the trench. It's like a 2 minute
Behind him,
shot.
it's like,
Yeah.
and it's
I
like beautiful. And it's
yeah.
a shot that has stayed in my head for some time. You really see Kubrick coming to his own in here. Uh,
Yes.
Beautiful film, so well written. And a movie that I saw a documentary about Kubrick, and I'll bring it up many times during this series. Uh, this was a controversial movie when it came out. Like,
Oh, yeah.
the war was still like a touchy topic.
Mhm.
Because they were just coming off of World War II after this. So making a movie that is really just tracking how horrible war is gonna
Mhm.
be sort of polarizing, you know,
Yeah. And
because yeah, go ahead.
even with this movie is so obviously critical of high ranking officers in the military. Uh, so that probably, I mean, we talked about this when we were on the phone the other night, how Stanley Kubrick was constantly pushing the envelope of what was okay to say and do in cinema. And again, you're right. This movie came out in 1957, and we have a shot in the middle of a movie where it's a guy who got his head blown off just falling over. And this is in 1957. I mean, just the stuff that Kubrick would do and put in his movies, but it was never like, oh, why do you put that in there? It was like this makes the movie better, you know.
Yes.
Um,
And there's a part of the movie, and just spoilers now, because
yeah,
this is a movie that it's like an hour and 10 minutes long, you know. In
yeah,
order to talk about it, you're gonna bring up spoilers.
mm-hmm,
Like, the whole movie is Kirk Douglas fighting and fighting and fighting. Like, they couldn't have left. They all would have died. So then they just pick three guys and shoot them.
yep,
No mercy. It comes out of nowhere, because with all of the fighting, you are almost conditioned when watching movies to have the mindset of, oh, he's fighting, they're gonna get off. And then, like, he's running towards them as they're all like pinned up against hay bales, and then they just shoot them. He's like a minute late. Uh,
mm-hmm,
and I think that the fact that, like, the most controversial 50s movie that I've seen, and I think it's the 50s, is I'm pretty sure Persona was the 50s. And Persona had like a whole scene where she went into like graphic
uh,
distress.
Persona was 1966.
It was 66?
Yeah.
It was in black and white. Really?
Yeah. Yep.
They were doing color pretty often then. But then again, Bergman and his black and white. Well,
Yeah, that's just kind of his style.
that's his style. Well, yeah.
But again, like back to what you were saying, the most controversial film at this point was Rebel Without a Cause. Like that caused an uprising in the country because it was this film about the exact hero, like I don't know, idolizing the exact person that every parent in the US was worried their kid was going to turn into.
Yeah.
That was the most controversial
And
film.
Rebel Without a Cause also had like a suicidal kid. Rebel Without a Cause was edgy. And then Kubrick just walks on and goes, "Oh, you think you're special?" And then just has people getting shot all over the place.
Mm-hmm.
He's criticizing what half of the country thought was like these superheroic people. Like the people in the war, after coming off of World War II, like I said, the people in the war were the superheroes. And he says, "You sure about that?" And
Mm-hmm.
he comes out and just overflows people with all this stuff. And Kubrick gains notoriety. And you'll notice this throughout his movies with
Mm-hmm.
everything from starting out with, he then goes towards like 2001 territory where it's just a awesome movie. And then he just goes Clockwork Orange, Barry Lyndon, The Shining, Eyes Wide Shut, Full Metal Jacket. The guy cannot stay out of trouble, and I respect him for it so much because at this time, if you made an edgy movie, you were overseas. US domestic movies at this time in the 50s and 60s are so really not bland because a lot of them are very good, but are very light. And then when we get to the 70s, everyone goes edgy in the 70s, but Kubrick's been in the game for 20 years at that point, doing what
Mm-hmm.
everyone was trying to do. And when in the 70s you have movies like I Spit on Your Grave and other morally incorrect movies, and you get a shock era. He is doing shock, but making great movies doing it.
Exactly.
You know?
Yeah.
What was Burt Reynolds' character in Boogie Nights?
He was like a porn director.
Yeah, Jack Horner.
Yeah.
That's his name. His whole thing was, I'm gonna make movies that are adult movies, but I'm gonna make them great. Kubrick comes out with like Clockwork Orange and Eyes Wide Shut, categories that are known for being like pretty bad movies. And
Mm-hmm.
he comes in and he just sweeps, making phenomenal films in categories that are notorious for garbage. And anti-war films did not exist really at this point at all.
No, this was like one of the first ones.
This is one of the first ones, and it did pretty well, sparked the controversy that he's known for, and really just set him in stone as a legendary director.
Mm-hmm.
This is one of like 2 or 3 Stanley Kubrick movies to have a Criterion, rightfully so. So if we're talking about do I recommend this or not, I recommend this and then some. I think that this is a great place to start with your Kubrick movies. And if you already have started and you've only seen like The Shining, go here. This is good Kubrick. Great Kubrick.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, you said it all. I have no more thoughts. I recommend this. Jagger, do you have this at a 5-star? I have this at a 5-star.
I have this at a very high 4.5.
Yeah.
It
excellent.
Stack up to some other Kubrick, but it's still excellent. It's
Oh,
wonderful.
yeah, it's unbelievable. I mean, the guy cooks. He cooks. Yeah, absolutely excellent. Definitely go check it out. This is the halfway point. I mean, I guess. Next, join us on Tuesday. It is possible we are having Evan back. I have yet to hear from him about that, but we are going to be reviewing Before Sunset. Are we doing
Sunset?
before?
Yeah.
So I gotta watch Before Sunrise. this
Yeah,
weekend.
'cause
But we're going to be reviewing Before Sunset. Richard, is it Rich? I think it's Richard Linklater.
it's
Uh,
Linklater, yeah.
who, yeah, my mom's nodding at me. She loves those movies. Who we will probably do a director watch through at some point. We'll
Gladly.
do Richard Linklater because another director who just cooks. Um, and then next Friday, we will be reviewing the classic Kubrick films Spartacus and Lolita. So we are looking forward to that. I'm really looking forward to Spartacus. I've heard actually pretty solid things
I'm looking
about
forward
it.
to Lolita. Lolita's Kubrick's most controversial movie
Oh,
in
I
a
didn't know
lot of
that.
people's minds. Yeah, it's about is if I'm not mistaken,
Holy
this is
cow.
sort of
Both of these movies are so long. Lolita's an hour and 54, and Spartacus is
2 hours
uh
and 50.
no, I mean Lolita is I think 2.5 hours, and then Spartacus is almost 3.
Oh my god.
Oh boy.
Well, if I'm not mistaken, you can check this for me. Lolita's about a child's relationship with a grown man, which in
Let's see.
64 is it? It's somewhere around that.
Yes, it is. Wow.
Uh, yeah,
Okay.
two and a
But
half
yeah,
hours.
join us next Friday for that. And then Tuesday for Before Sunset. Now, it is that time of the season. I believe it's December 22nd today. We've brushed over a few Christmas movies in our What You've Been Watching Recently section of the pod. Do you remember when we just called that high low and then it just turned into that? We just wanted to talk about everything we've been watching. No, but I wanted to set a little because Sunday, it is Friday today. Sunday is Christmas. It is the holiday season. And of course, this is the season where you can watch horror movies during Halloween, but you don't have a lot of Halloween centered horror movies, right?
Yeah.
Christmas is probably the holiday with the most movies centered around Christmas. So today we just wanted to go over and talk about some of our favorite movies to watch during the holidays. And yes, this will include unofficial holiday movies such as Die Hard and Eyes Wide Shut and
Yeah.
Lethal Weapon. Have there been any you watched in the last week, Jagger, that you wanted to shout out or you've
I
enjoyed?
haven't logged it, but one of my favorite Christmas movies is Love Actually. So this is
I
just
still
a
haven't
chance.
watched it.
This is just my chance to shout out Love Actually. Watch it before next episode and we'll talk about it. All
Okay.
right? Because
I feel like that'd be a good one to match up with Before Sunset.
Yeah, it is. It is. And it's so great. It's amazing. I love it so much. And to just talk about other favorites. I mean, Eyes Wide Shut.
Peak.
I've watched The Holdovers like 3 times this month.
I have tickets to see it on
Christmas
Sunday.
Eve.
Sunday is Christmas Eve. Yeah, I have tickets to see it on Sunday night.
To quickly just shout out some garbage. Love Hard, The Night Before, Elf.
Hey, whoa. Don't you gave Night Before 2 stars. Okay.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it. I gave it 4.5. I
What?
thought it okay. Here's the
That's
thing.
kind of out of left field.
Here's the thing. Comedy is the hardest because I feel that it is the most subjective and where people have it because it's whatever you find funny. I find all 3 of those lead guys hilarious. I love the way Jonathan Levine directs. So, of course I had a blast. I mean, Michael Shannon is in it. Anytime Michael Shannon just shows up in a movie, it instantly gets better. I had a blast with it. I watched it last night. I think I'm going to watch it tonight again with my family. And also, may I say this? From experience, that scene where Seth Rogen is like majorly tripping balls in the bathroom on mushrooms, it's so insanely accurate. It's so accurate. And that's probably the scene that had me laughing the hardest.
When he's making the video confessing to being like
or when they're in the back of the limo. Also, Nathan Fielder showing up in a movie. Always love him.
yeah, Nathan Field. Can we quickly do this for a minute? Have you
Yeah,
seen Nathan For You?
of course I have.
I binged out this show like last week. He's like
All of it?
all of it.
Oh,
All
it's
3
so good.
seasons. It
It's
is
so good.
it's like Borat mixed with Impractical Jokers.
Yeah.
And it's like this perfect in between, and I
Oh my
have
gosh,
not
you
laughed
need to
that
talk to my
hard.
dad about this. My dad is a huge fan of Nathan For You.
And
The one where he brings the chili vest to the hockey game and shoots chili out of his sleeve into balls is so good.
oh my god, the thing with the haunted house though was brilliant.
Oh
Like
my
that
god, that
was
was so funny.
genius.
Or the poop flavored frozen yogurt.
And then there's the part where he just walks up and goes, I think I would like to point out that putting poo in something associated with food is not a good idea. And the guy just says to him, like straight faced, that's what I've been saying the whole time. Oh my god.
Oh, it's
It
so
was just
good.
the funniest.
It's
Okay.
so good.
Uh,
But to get back to it, Night Before, excellent. I would recommend it.
Also, if I may recommend, the SpongeBob Christmas special is peak. Like the one where they're like felt, that's straight nostalgia, so maybe it's bias and it's actually really bad, but I
Yeah.
love it half to death. So yeah, I
Um,
highly recommend.
Yeah. Let's point out the absolutely horrific looking animation from both Robert Zemeckis horror films, Christmas Carol and Polar Express. Although, because it really strikes that feel of like the uncanny valley, like you look at the characters and you're like, something's off here. They look terrible.
Yeah.
Especially Christmas Carol. That is one of the most unintentionally horrifying films I have ever seen. But both are enjoyable. Polar Express, especially. I love Polar Express. I watched it yesterday with my sister. And that whole movie is just a blast.
That's a Christmas Eve annual watch for my house. So,
yeah, especially this kid. Do you know what kind of train this is? Well, do you? God. Most annoying characters in cinema. That's against railroad rules. Another one that I would love to point out, How the Grinch Stole Christmas with Jim Carrey is outstanding. It's so good.
It's pretty good. I'm not a huge fan, although I can totally see where the respect for it comes from. Jingle All the Way with Arnold, peak.
Great.
I love that movie.
The Santa Claus movies with Tim Allen, all three of those. Oh, it's doing the thumbs up thing again. All three. Let's see if it does it.
Do it.
I don't know. All three of those are very good. Really, any Christmas movie with Tim Allen is great. All right, here's my final question, and then I'll let you get to Poor Things. Okay. Die Hard or Lethal Weapon?
I haven't seen Lethal Weapon in years. But I'm just a sucker for Die Hard. So
yeah, me too. I fall on that train as well. It's just, oh man, it's so good.
Bruce, here's the real question: Die Hard or Eyes Wide Shut?
Die Hard. If I'm sitting down to watch a Christmas movie, I'm gonna watch Die Hard.
Nothing says family quite like the Eyes Wide Shut party scene.
Jeez. My dad was like, should we watch this year instead of Lethal Weapon? And I was like, no, let's watch Lethal Weapon, please. I definitely don't want to watch this with you. But yeah, that was sorry for the quick episode today, everybody. But we will be back with an extra long one on Tuesday,
Yes, we
day
will.
after Christmas, because the average film enjoyer does not take breaks.
No, we don't. We don't
no.
believe in breaks.
What are those? Those are for the weak. So if you want to follow us on our socials, you can find our link trees in our bio on our YouTube channel. I'm Trey the Film Noob, TikTok, Twitter, Letterboxd, Jagger Film Fan on Letterboxd, Jagger the Movie Guy on Instagram and Twitch, and Jagger Film Reviews on TikTok and Twitter. Go check out Jagger's short films on the OJ Productions YouTube channel. The link is in our bio. Follow us. We officially have an HQ on Letterboxd. Go follow us on there. Me and Jagger this weekend will be working on our top 10 Christmas movies.
Also,
lists.
If you want to buy merch, now all you have to put in is afepod.com and it will bring you to our merch website. So you no longer have to go through the YouTube or anything. Just search up afepod.com and it's our merch.
Yep, go buy some of that. We have some dope stuff left over from Halloween.
As a Christmas gift for your favorite movie lover.
Exactly.
Yes.
Or your favorite dog. We also have doggy teas, which I didn't know till this morning, so that's pretty exciting.
And pickleball sets, everything.
And cop your average film enjoyer pickleball set. But yeah, thank you for joining us today. We hope you have very happy holidays. This is a time of love and happiness and gift giving. So go spend some time with your family. Resist the urge to just sit inside and watch movies. Go sit inside with your family. And watch
and
movies
make them
with your
watch
family.
movies with you. Yeah,
exactly. And we hope you have a happy holiday. And we will see you on Tuesday.